Sheila Lattisaw grew up the daughter of a prostitute in Los Angeles. As the oldest of 7 children, the burden of parenting often fell on her young shoulders.
I had no childhood. I remember being on a Saturday and I wanted to go outside and play. I said, well, I'll just put these basket of clothes here and I'll sneak downstairs just for a minute. I'll walk around, get some fresh air and I'll come back upstairs. Well, I don't think I was there for maybe 3 minutes when I heard my mom yell my name and I just felt my heart drop. And well, she didn't take it too well. And I paid for it. I paid for it. It was times like that it was hard.
When Sheila was 7, her mother had a nervous breakdown. The children went to live with different relatives.
Myself and my oldest brother stayed with my grandma. And I think that was one of the happiest times of my life, actually, because I got to be a little girl then.
Sheila attended Catholic school and learned about God. She vowed her life would be different from her mother's.
I loved getting up and going to church. It was just my time, And if anybody asked me, what are you going to be when you grow up? I'm going to be a nun.
Despite her good intentions, Sheila got pregnant when she was 15. Her mother was not happy.
Her first response was, of course you can't keep it. But I told her, I said, I don't want to get rid of it. I went to the young man and spoke to him. And he said, oh no, I want this baby. In fact, he gave me a ring. And he said that you're going to keep this baby. He said, you're going to finish school. And when you finish school, we're going to get married.
2 months after her daughter was born, Sheila's fiancé got into an argument with someone and was shot and killed. At 16, Sheila felt like her life was over.
I felt lost. I felt like at one point I had some hope. All my hope was just gone. I didn't know what to do.
Sheila's mother tried to convince her to try prostitution, but Sheila resisted. She finished high school, moved out, and married. After the birth of her second baby, Sheila felt her life was falling into place.
I'm finally happy. I'm finally getting the brass ring. I'm finally at a place where I have some peace. I have someone who loves me.
Then one morning, after her husband left for his job, Sheila got a phone call.
It was the president of the company. He said, there'd been an accident. So I get to California Hospital, and there he is. I was 21 years old. And I remember I just fell to my knees and I said, not again. Not again.
After his death, Sheila was devastated.
I think at that time, I began a downward spiral because I couldn't understand why it was snatched away. So I went into a state of depression. And I stayed there. I just stayed there. And I didn't know how to get out of it. And I started relying on medications.
Sheila went from taking painkillers and smoking pot to using cocaine. During the day, she tried to be a good mom. At night, she prostituted herself for drugs.
I was no better than my mother. And it deeply disturbed me because I had become her.
One night, Sheila went to a hotel with a customer. After they arrived, she discovered it was a setup, and Sheila was raped by a gang of 15 men. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually, at the end of her rope, Sheila cried out to God.
I looked up to God and said, you know what, God? I'm hurting, and I don't want to hurt anymore. I'm tired of the life that I'm living. Only person can help me right now is you, God. And that was the first time I ever heard God speak to me. And I heard that voice loud, and it was audible. And he said, I'm here. And it's going to be okay. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. And that was the first time in my life I felt secure.
Sheila moved in with her grandmother and started going to church.
My whole life changed. I joined a church and God spoke to me. When God calls us, we have to heed.
Today, she's an ordained minister and happily married to Donald.
He's a man after God's heart. We've been able to build a relationship based on the love of God, and that makes a difference.
Sheila is grateful for the new life she has found in Christ.
You know, it's like that butterfly. A butterfly has to go through a metamorphosis. He has to struggle to be able to gain his wings. When we become that new creature, we get our wings because we are that new creature. And God has built us up from the inside out, just like that butterfly.